Japanese turn 7. Here is my production. I have 2 mech, 3 tanks, 1 destroyer, 3 infantry, one fighter, and I'm also repairing a port in Himalaya, so that takes place right away. So I remove that. And now doing my moves, combat moves. Hopefully you can see that. So the first move is from the Philippines. From the Philippines, we have 1 tactical moving to 33 in the Carolines. 1, 2, 3. From Sea of Japan, we have 1 destroyer and 1 submarine also moving to the Caroline Islands. 1, 2, 3. From Sea Zone 37, so Sea Zone 37, as you can see, I've got a task force there, and I've got, these are all the units there, just to reduce a little bit of the clutter. So we have a transport with an infantry and an artillery. So the infantry and the artillery come from Shan State and Siam, and they go in the transport, which is in 37, and they are trying to do an amphibious assault in Sumatra. And of course, there's a destroyer there, so we're going to have to do a sea battle. Here we go. We have 3 fighters and 3 tactical, which are also in that task force on Sea Zone 37 from the carriers, and they are attacking Java right here, which has the Australian fighters. Excuse my butterfingers. From Indochina, we have 1 tactical and 1 fighter moving to Sea Zone 38, which is the British cruiser. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use some range markers here. So these units have 1 left. As soon as I get the number 1 on the die. These fighters and bombers, tactical bombers, have 3 left. In Sea Zone 36, we have a destroyer, which is moving to Borneo. And also the cruiser. So moving from Sea Zone 36 to Borneo, which is Sea Zone 43 with the submarine. We have a transport in Sea Zone 36, which is going to pick up an infantry and an artillery and land in Java. One, two, to Java. So we're doing an invasion. We have 2 bombers in Guangxi, which are going to Sea Zone 33 way over here. So I'm going to count that out for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just to put the dice markers on. So all those air units have 2 movement left. Yunnan, we got 1 infantry moving to Burma. It's here. C-Zone 36, we have 1 transport, which is transporting 1 infantry and 1 artillery to Sumatra. So this is an infantry unit. Shenxi, we have, so up here in China, Shenxi, we have 1 tank, 1 mech going to Suiyana, attacking that 1 Japanese infantry, or sorry, Chinese infantry. And Quishao, we have 1 tactical, which is also attacking in Shuya, the Chinese infantry. The whole task force in C-Zone 37, what's remaining of it, and you can see on the card here, which is 3 carriers, 2 battleships, 1 cruiser, 2 destroyers. They are moving into C-Zone 41 to support the invasion and do that sea battle. And now I'm just doing okay, the last thing is we have a fighter in Guangxi, which is moving in to support the attack on the submarine in C-Zone 43. So that fighter has 2 left. So I believe I've covered all my combat moves. Okay, so now we're going to do some rolls. So let's do the one in Java. So Java, we've got a bunch of New Zealanders. And the invasion. Plus the massive carrier attack, carrier wave. So hopefully you can see that setup. The New Zealanders really blend in with the board. So we have 3 tacticals, which are paired with 3 Japanese fighters. We have an artillery and an infantry. So here we go. This is the combat. So we're going to start over here. So we have, 1 second. So we've got red at 4. So we have 3 tacticals. We have 3 fighters at 3. So 3 tacticals at 4, 3 fighters at 3, and artillery paired with an infantry. So that's at 2 at 2. So now we're going to roll. And you can see we've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 hits. So that destroys the New Zealand force. However, they get to counterattack. So over here, the New Zealand force defends, the fighters defend at a 4. So 2 at 4. The tank defends at a 3. So 1 at 3, and the infantry defends at a 2. So green is 1 at 2. So they fire back. And they get 1 hit. So that's 1 Japanese infantry removed, and the New Zealanders are gone. So putting that back on the board. Java, so that's a successful invasion of Java. So moving on, we'll do the combat, the one that we've been waiting for, I think, the one in Carolines. So we've got 2 bombers, 1 tactical, and destroying a submarine, Japanese, versus a carrier. I'm assuming you've landed this artillery onto the island. Carrier, submarine, and a plane fighter. So we've got the carrier, which defends on a 2, submarine, which defends on the 1, fighter defends on a 4, versus 2 bombers, tactical, which attacks on a 3, a destroyer, and a submarine. I think you can see all that, so let's do the rolls. So we've got 2 bombers at 4. We have 1 tactical, blue at 3, and a submarine, and a destroyer 2. There we go. So rolling. So wow, that's 5 hits. So they're destroyed. And I didn't put the transport on, but the transport is also destroyed. They fire back. So we have 1 fighter at 4, which is red. We have a carrier at 2, which is green. And we have a submarine at 1, which is white. And they fire back. And they get 1 hit. So I'm going to take off the I'll take off the destroyer, and those units are destroyed. So the transport on Caroline Islands is gone. We have 1 submarine. Okay, the next one is we're going to do attack in Borneo. So in Borneo, we have 1 New Zealand submarine versus a cruiser destroyer and an airplane. Submarine defends at 1. Cruiser attacks at 3. Destroyer attacks at 2. Fighter attacks at 3. Blues are 3. And greens are 2. So the Japanese hit on 1, so that's all they need is 1. And the submarine fires back at 1. And they also get a hit. Good shooting. So I'm going to take off the destroyer for a submarine. That ends the combat. So that's in Borneo. Okay, next combat is the sea combat. So we have a destroyer. We have a sea combat before we invade Sumatra. So we have a destroyer there. And I'm attacking with 2 battleships, a cruiser and 2 destroyers. I'm not going to set this up. So a battleship, a cruiser and 2 destroyers. 2 battleships, which is red. A cruiser, which is blue. And 2 destroyers, which is green. So I'm rolling. So this guy's dead, and he fires back at 2, which is green, and he misses. So that's the sea combat, and the Japanese invade Sumatra and successfully take it. Next one is the attack on the cruiser in Sea Zone 38, the British cruiser. This is all about fighting Australia and New Zealand this turn. So we got a cruiser, and we have a tactical and a fighter. So for the tactical, because it's paired with a fighter, is at 4. The fighter is 3. So firing and a miss, and the cruiser fires back, and the cruiser fires at 3, which is blue, and misses. Firing again, that's a 4 and a 3, so red and a blue. This time it's a hit. The cruiser sunk. The cruiser fires back at 3, and the cruiser also gets a hit. So we have an exchange there. So other combat, the infantry moves, takes over Burma. Japanese infantry takes Burma. The last combat I believe I have is in China, which is Suiyuan. So it's 1 Japanese infantry versus a tank, mech, and 1 tactical. So I'll put that on the board. Battle board. Japanese infantry, 1 tactical, 1 mech, and 1 tank. Over here. So the tactical's 3. The tank. Oh, sorry, I had the tank in the wrong spot. Tank is also 3, and the mech is 1. So that's a hit. All I needed was 1 hit. And the Japanese infantry fires back, and the Japanese infantry misses. Or Chinese infantry, I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep calling it Japanese. We're fighting in China. So Suiyuan is now Japanese. So that concludes the combat move. So now we're going to do the non-combat move. So first of all, we're going to land fighters. So the fighter in Suiyuan goes to Shensi. The fighter in Sea Zone 38 goes to Shan State. The fighter that is in Sea Zone 43 went 1-2, so it has 2 left. So 1-2, it also moves into Shan State. All the fighters that attacked Sea Zone 42, Java, they all land back on the carrier. All these units are all within this task force, as you know. I've got it on the board here. In Sea Zone 33, Caroline Islands, we are going to move. All these units have 2 movement remaining, so they're going to move to Palau Island. So I believe I've landed all my planes. So now we're going to do some land movement. So we're going to start. In Yunnan. So we're going to move 2 units from Hunan to Shensi. So we got 2 mechs with that paired with that tactical bomber. We have this artillery. It's going to go to Sichuan, from Yunnan to Sichuan. And we have, sorry, give me 1 second here. So we have a tank and a mech. So we're going to move the tank and the mech from Jiangsu, and we're going to move them to Henan. Then we have an infantry and artillery in Japan, which is going to go in the transport up here. And 1, 2, 3. So they're going to land. They're going to go in Hainan, and they're going to land in French Indochina. There. And then we have Manchuria. Sorry, I didn't make change. But there's going to be 2 from Manchuria. I'll make change right now. Sorry about that. So we have a total of 6 in Manchuria. So we're going to leave 4 behind. So we have a total of, 6 in Korea. So we're going to move from Korea to Manchuria. And then we're going to move okay, so we're done. There's nothing else I can move, so now I'm going to put on my production. So I've got 3 tanks. 3 tanks are going to go into French Indochina. Oh, I beg your pardon. Hainan, he gets to move. Oh, no, he moved down. So I have 1 transport left. I have 2 transports in C-Zone 37. One of them landed in Sumatra. The other one is going to move up to Formosa. I knew I'd forgotten something. There we go. Okay, so reinforcements. I have destroyer and a plane. So the destroyer is going to be in C-Zone 6. 2 mech and a plane are going to be in Guangzhou. And then the 3 infantry are also going to be in Japan. So, disposition of forces. Let's start in Sumatra. We have 2 artillery, 2 infantry, which have taken over Sumatra. In the Japanese task force, I have 3 tactical, 3 fighters, 2 amphibious, 2 destroyers, 1 cruiser, 2 battleships, 3 carriers. That's in that task force at C-Zone 41. On Java, which was invaded, I have 1 transport and 1 artillery. In Borneo, I have 1 infantry and I have 1 cruiser in C-Zone 43. I have a transport in C-Zone 36. I have, in Indochina, I have 3 artillery, 1 infantry, 1 sorry, 3 tanks, 1 artillery, 1 infantry. Shan State, I have 1 tactical, 1 fighter. Burma, I have 1 infantry. Yunnan, I have 1 tank. Sichuan, I have 1 artillery. Hunan, I have 1 tank and 1 mech. Shenxi, I have 2 mechs and 1 tactical. Shuyan, I have 1 tank and 1 mech. And Guangzhou, which is Shanghai, I have 2 mechs, 1 artillery, and 1 fighter. In Manchuria, I have 2 infantry. In Korea, I have 4 infantry and 1 fighter. In Japan, I have 5 infantry. Iwo Jima, I have 1 infantry. Okinawa, I have 1 infantry. Caroline Islands, Seasonal 33, I have 1 submarine. And there's a 1 lone Australian in Caroline Islands. I have a bomber, 2 bombers, and a fighter or tactical in Paula Island. And I believe that's it. So I've got to sign off. I will count up the IPCs afterwards. Thank you.